Joined now by Justin Wolfers, professor of public policy and economics at the University of Michigan. Justin, always good to see you. So here we are. This war of words has only escalated between, well, not even between, it's sort of one direction aimed at Jay Powell from the president. Now this inquiry into perhaps legal prosecution. You're hearing from a number of people from both sides of the aisle. In fact, monetary policy leaders from all over the world really cautioning against this. Just talk about some of the ramifications and if there's an off-ramp still available for the president, because it's reported that even his own Treasury Secretary said he's creating more chaos.
Yeah, so this is not just a war of words. This is the president sending a message to his Federal Reserve chair that he's threatening to jail him. He's threatening to jail him because he disagrees with the decisions he's making. Now, it turns out it's fine for a president to disagree. It's not okay to threaten to jail someone for doing the job that Congress tells him to do. Congress has been absolutely clear. The Fed's job is to focus on inflation and unemployment. That's what Jay Powell has been doing. You might not like the precise way he's been doing it, but that's what he's been doing. Threatening to jail him over this is simply unprecedented in American history. It's the sort of stuff of tin pot dictators. It's not unprecedented in the world. We've seen Russia try this. We've seen Venezuela do this. We've seen Zimbabwe do this. We've seen Turkey do this. This is just not anything like what a healthy economy or healthy respect for economic institutions looks like. And honestly, the stakes are incredibly high for the American economy.
Yeah, even more notable, though, that you have Jay Powell standing up to the president by issuing that video over the weekend saying this only relates to one issue and one issue only, and that is the president disagreeing with the Fed's decision and their policies on interest rates. The president also keeps saying that Americans have never had it better. The economy is booming. We heard him reiterate that yesterday when he was speaking in Detroit. Yet most polls show that people are still worried about making ends meet. When voters feel squeezed, are they right to worry? Because on the one hand, the numbers aren't so bad. On the other hand, it does appear to all come down to how American consumers are feeling. That's something that the Biden administration was plagued with as well.
Look, Bianna, I'm just going to tell you the truth here. I've been so worried I had to go and get Botox because otherwise I just look like a mess right now. And look, I'm not alone. I might be alone. I might be the only bloke who got Botox as a result. But I will tell you that mums and dads are sitting around the kitchen tables worried, and they're worried about affordability. When we look at surveys of consumer confidence right now is literally as low as it's ever been in American measured history. So if you think about the dark days following a Wall Street meltdown or during the COVID pandemic, people are even more worried right now. I think part of it is the genuine concerns about affordability, but part of it is just that people don't feel in control. This doesn't feel like a White House that's running a coherent, well thought out economic policy. You're threatening to jail the Fed chair one day. You're firing the chief statistician another day for telling the truth. This is honestly unprecedented times, and I share the worries that people have.
And as you have the president calling affordability crisis a hoax, he's also introducing some quite progressive policy ideas that I think would be quite unheard of for any Republican to introduce, that is now getting some pushback from both Wall Street and economists. I don't know how you feel about this, but putting caps on interest rates that credit card companies can charge consumers, and also some of his ideas on bringing the cost of housing down.
Yeah, so I think this is really an important conversation because the president is a master at manipulating the media. There's two President Trumps, Bianna. There's what he says, yap, 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 and there's what he does. What he says, sometimes it sounds like he's been hanging out with Bernie Sanders, just looking for some great populist ideas. What he does is completely different. So on the one hand, he's saying, I'm going to cap credit card interest rates. There's a different question whether that's a good idea or not, but that's something that, at the very least seems like it would be popular among working class Americans. On the other hand, what he's actually done has been enormous tax cuts for the rich and tax hikes on working class Americans in the form of tariffs. So He has an idea a day. It means you and I talk about what he's talking about. But the reality is those populist ideas he simply hasn't followed through on. The redistribution from poor to rich, though, that is something he's come back to time and time again. The disruption of the American economy, that's something he's done a lot about. And the attempt to tear down our institutions that are the foundation of our prosperity, that's something that he's actually doing.
Yeah, and the president's touting all of these economic achievements to his tariffs, which we'll have another conversation about that. I think most economists suggest that the economy is growing despite the tariffs. Justin Wolfers, good to see you.